Hey folks, welcome to Swissling TV, and we're at episode 6. And as I promised, we're going to have a musical guest starting with this episode 6 here. You don't have to listen to me playing guitar no more. And I'd like to welcome Webster Moore. He's going to do a number for us, and then we're going to talk to him a little bit more.
I hear the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometimes, I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky, just the two of us. Oh, you and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, not to those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Oh, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. That is Webster Moore.
Thank you.
Webster,
that was
thanks
great.
thanks for coming so early to our studio here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the coffee.
Whistling TV. Yeah, you're very welcome. So I love that song. That's, from an era way before you were even thought of.
It's the good stuff.
How did that enter your life? That style of music.
My mom and dad definitely had a big influence on me with that kind of stuff. My dad was a big Zappa fan, and he would kind of play Zappa, kind of the classic rock stuff, and my mom liked some of that older jazz, I would say. But yeah, high school is when I started getting into funk and R&B and soul, and had a piano teacher, Josh Haig, actually, and I got to see him play around a lot. And, I definitely kind of saw some of that from him. He was a big jazz guy, and I think just friends around me, and I started some bands, and that's kind of the music that felt right, so I went with that.
Pretty awesome, because I almost have given up hope for the young people to still enjoy that kind of music, so I'm so glad to see that. That's pretty awesome.
There's a chance.
Yeah, and Webster's also joining my band, which is pretty exciting for some shows coming up, so looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We'll squeeze it in January 21st at the Women's Club in Chico at 2 p.m. The show starts at 1, I think. So anyway, Webster, you're new to our show here, and we'll hope to have you back more often, of course. But what we do is, we are in the business of selling things that are cool and unusual, and we either make or find all over the world in different militaries. And we got some samples here of the stuff. And let me see. How about, Miles, what do you think of this? Should we start with this?
Yeah, those are awesome. Some Czech mortar and pestle sets.
Yeah, I mean, where do you find that? Where you can make your own stuff, right?
Maybe an old apothecary.
Or make some witch's brew, or you can do all kinds of stuff with that. But really great for spices. If you have some fresh spices, pepper and cumin and all the seeds, you can really use this to go to work. Where did I find that? One of my trips to the Czech Republic. Actually, you were with me on that trip, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this guy in the Czech Republic, pretty much, he had these sitting there. This came out of the medical units in the Czech Republic. So the armies in the Czechoslovakia, when it was still one country before it split to Czech Republic and Slovakia, they had a lot of stuff. During the Cold War, they built up a lot of stuff. And these hospital units, they had their own labs and their own pharmacies out in the field. They were ready to go out in the field if they ever had to. So this was something that they issued to have made, so they can make up some medicine for the guy laying there that's injured or hurt. So it's real porcelain. It's really cool stuff. It's from the 50s, and I snagged it. I just couldn't resist. So look it up at SwissLink.com. There's 2 different sizes. You can get your own Czech Army, Czechoslovakian Army.
Mortars and pestles.
Mortars and pestles.
Great for mojitos and guacamole.
Now you're talking too. Guacamole. Yeah.
There we go. That. Yeah. We're not all making medicine out here.
No, that's true. Yeah, guacamole. That's a good guacamaker. I mean, you would have one of those at home, would you?
I think I would, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a big guac
cool.
guy, so that would
there
fit
you go.
right in.
Yeah, where do you find this kind of quality and thick? Look how thick this is. It's just amazing. So, yeah, that's one of the things that we found there and that we're selling. And it's got the porcelain maker on here. It's hard to read it without my glasses. Give the young guy a look. People still have eyes that work, but it's probably written in Czechoslovakian. So.
Yeah, I don't think I know that.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's nice pretty cool though, huh? Quality's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way, one time I was over there and I bought their army band equipment. They had a whole container of horns and stuff.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Guitars. Yeah, that was pretty fun.
In the old office, you had a bugle that you would try to play every once in a while.
Yeah, I scared everybody.
That was fun.
I kept one of them just to try to. It was pretty awful what I did, but it was cool. Actually, our friend, the trombone player, Trombone Ben, got some of those tubas and stuff that were there.
Oh, that's without the valves, right? It's just one. Yeah.
Yeah, he had some of those, and then there were some with valves. I mean, it had so many brass instruments. It was pretty cool find. So yeah, so we, like I've talked about before, sometimes you just can't get what we used to get, and we used to get a lot of wool pants from Finland. I was in Finland one time and looking for some stuff, and the holy grail of military surplus is a good wool pant. And it was harder to find the old wool pants, that were made in the 40s, and because the quality is so amazing in those days. And it was harder and harder to find. And on one of my trips, I opened this door and there's a whole warehouse, and I said, "What's in there?" "Oh, 20,000 Finnish wool pants
and jackets."
I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, they've been in there for 70 years or whatever, all preserved. It's freaking cold there, in Finland, and so everything was nice and dry and preserved in this warehouse. And we had 20,000 Finnish wool pants. We brought them to Paradise, and we were selling them. They were like hotcakes. But sadly, they all burned, and before we could even go through a third of them. And I really missed them. And so what we did is we called a customer that we had sold a few to, and said, "Can we buy one back?" So I bought one back, and I brought this to my blanket maker, and that makes our blankets. And I said, "Can you make some pants?" So he meticulously copied the Finnish wool pant, and now we have a full, I would say, authentic copy of the Finnish wool pant, brand new in all the sizes you want. The only problem was when you got them from the army, it was mostly small sizes, because the guys that they allow in the army don't usually look like me. They're pretty skinny. So now we have them in all sizes with the reinforced butt, cargo pockets, button fly. It's just an awesome pant, and it's really high quality wool. This is a lifetime pant pretty much. So if you're somewhere where it gets cold and you want a pant to be outside with all day for the next 50 years, every day, this is the pant. I was in Finland one time when I was young, and I visited a friend of mine's uncle. I was like 17 years old, and the uncle, this is just about the time when Lapland was taken over by Sweden as a country, because before it was kind of a region of its own. So it suddenly had healthcare. So all these people, those Lapps that have their reindeer and go around, that live from tent to tent, nomads, suddenly had the right to a dentist. Well, my buddy's friend was a dentist and a helicopter pilot. It's pretty handy when you have to cover this big of an area. So he would go with a mobile dentist lab to visit these tribes that were out there with their reindeers, and he would do their dentistry.
Oh, wow.
And he had a cabin way up in the Lapland, way above Finland. He had a cabin, and he said, if you boys want to come up there and stay for the summer, you're welcome. So we go. It's a long, long drive from Germany to Finland, way up there at the top, you know. And then he had to fly us in with the helicopter to his cabin. So that was cool. And so he drops us at the cabin, says, there's food, there's this and that, there's the outhouse over there, and I'll see you in 6 weeks. And middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere. And it was midsummer night, so the sun never set. It was, you know, like it is in Alaska, you know. It was just... So we get there. We've been driving and flying, and, you know, we're up forever. It's 2 a.m, and I had to go use the rest of the outhouse. And so I kind of walk out to the outhouse. I leave the door open. There's nobody there, you know. Of course, my buddy's sleeping in the house, in the cabin, and I kind of fall asleep because it's been a long day, just sitting there, you know, half asleep. And suddenly I hear this noise and feel this weird air, you know. And I open my eyes, and a gigantium of a moose had come up, stuck its nose into the outhouse front door, and he was nose to nose with me. So I wake up, and all I see is this huge nose basically touching my nose, and I freaked out. You know, I didn't know what the hell it was. Those things are huge.
Yeah.
They're 10 feet tall. And he bent down, and, you know, horns were outside, because, of course, you know, there's no way to get it in the door. But his nose was long enough to touch my nose. I let out a huge scream because I didn't know what the hell was going on. The moose let out a huge scream. He started shaking his head around, going, what the hell's going on? Catching the outhouse in his horns, standing up all the way, lifting it up over me, the whole outhouse. I'm sitting on the hole by now, and runs off through the woods. And all I can see, and I'll never forget as long as I live, this moose running with the outhouse on his head, on his horns, and the outhouse just kind of exploding as he runs past the trees, and the pieces just flying everywhere, and the moose taking off. And I'm sitting there, 3 a.m, on this thing with no walls, going, what just happened? True story.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the guy in Jurassic Park on the toilet after the dinosaur destroys the bathrooms. The same thing.
Same thing. Did I? You know, somehow they must have heard that story from me. Use it.
Spielberg is a thief. Yeah.
Spielberg's a thief. So that's what happened there. Yeah, that was quite. My buddy. I went to bed, you know, and my buddy wakes me up a couple hours later. He says, "Where'd the bathroom go?" I said, you won't believe it. It's gone.
A moose took it.
A moose took it. So these are the things that can happen in Finland. But if you're really prepared with these kind of pants, it won't leave you in the cold. So SwissLink.com is where you find these pants. Folks, it's cold now all over the country. Get on the horn and buy these pants. We have them all sizes. Waist size 34 up to 46.
And we are getting some smaller sizes as well in the future.
Yes.
Per request. A lot of
Per
people are
request,
asking.
I've heard we're going to have some 30s and 32s also, because, you know, for the ones that don't fit in the 34s. Awesome. And then what do we have here? Some Austrian gloves?
Yeah, well, we have them listed as German gloves, but that particular pair has got an Austrian tag on it.
Yeah, it
they
does.
get kind of mixed up together.
Yeah, it's written in German, but it's got like an Austrian brand, so made in Austria. Anything that's made in Austria or Germany, all the way from an Apfelstrudel to wool gloves, you know it's going to be the best. You ever had an Apfelstrudel?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, man. That's one thing about that movie. What is that called?
Inglourious Bastards?
Inglourious Bastards. There's that
Love that
one
movie.
scene where he sits there, and it's a really tense scene. He's speaking to that French lady, and she realizes that he had just killed her whole family earlier, and they're having Apfelstrudel and whipped cream. And I'm looking at this going, man, this looks good. I didn't, you know, she's horrified. I didn't think about that. All I could think about is the Apfelstrudel, how good it looks. And it looks so good. And I'm like, oh man, I wish I could have that right now. And he puts a cigarette out in it. You remember that scene? He didn't even finish it. He puts a cigarette into it and then leaves. Like, oh, you just destroyed Knopflerstrudel. Yeah, you killed a whole bunch of people first, but you destroyed Knopflerstrudel. That's horrible.
His biggest offense is destroying the
That was
strudel.
his biggest offense. Anyway, that was a cool movie. But here we have, these are the thickest gloves. Check these gloves out here. Wool gloves that thick.
Those are nice.
I mean, there's no way you're going to get cold.
I'm busking all the time, so those would come in handy.
Absolutely.
I don't think you
Brakes.
can play the keys with those.
Yeah, you might be able to play 2 of the keys.
Pick up another instrument.
But yeah, these are absolutely amazing. Again, lifetime quality. You cannot find or buy or anything similar anywhere.
We have a lot of wool gloves and a lot of wool mittens, but these ones are so much thicker than any other wool glove
extreme.
that we've ever had. Yeah.
It's really extreme, I mean.
Really heavy duty.
It would be a great compliment for these wool pants. And protect you against the moose. At least your hands, if they're so thick. So I would say check them out at swisslink.com. And then let's go to this here. Italy, similar situation. I was in there and I found a whole bunch of stuff that was all mess stuff for the officers' mess of the Italian Air Force from the 50s. And if you look it up on our website, folks, we have a bunch of stuff there, some porcelain plates and cups, espresso cups, forks, spoons, knives, a lot of stuff. And one of the
glasses,
champagne
shot glasses, beer glasses,
wine carafes.
Also
and
linens,
tablecloths, and napkins, all from the Italian Air Force from 1950. All of it stamped with the Italian Air Force logo. It's incredible stuff.
That's cool.
And one of the items that was there is their tray. Now, folks, I wish you could feel this. Feel it.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's heavy duty.
This is heavy duty. This stainless. This is the heaviest food tray I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I remember going to the Army barracks, and we had plastic trays that they would let us use, This thing, I mean, my gosh, the Italian Air Force people really knew how to live. This is a stainless steel tray, folks, that weighs at least, what do you think? You're a weightlifter.
I don't know, but it's at least a pound.
At least a pound. You lift a little
It's
more.
quite heavy, yeah.
You lift a little more than that when you do your strongman competitions?
A few more pounds than one, yeah.
They throw full kegs over their shoulders, back over. There's things they do. I don't know, strongman competitions. So you can find these at swisslink.com. Italian Air Force trays from 1950s. And I'll tell you one thing, we had a bunch of them. We're down to about 90 right now. So you better get it today because we know Webster's going to buy a few after he's seen it and touched it. So, there's not many left. What do you think about that?
Yeah, get them while you can, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to be wrapping up our episode 6, and I got to tell you, it's just so much fun to be able to talk to you again. But what I really like about today's episode is that we have our musical guest, and we'll be continuing that. And I hope Webster will be back with some more music for us.
Definitely.
And what song are you going to play for us for the outro?
Let's do My Girl.
My Girl. Hey,
That's,
awesome.
Nice and uplifting.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. Well, I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way? Whoa, it's my girl. Talking about my girl. I got so much money, don't need no fortune or fame. I've got all the riches, baby, the one man can claim. Well, I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way? Whoa, it's my girl. Talking talking about my girl. Well, I guess you'd say, what can make me feel this way? Whoa, it's my girl, talking about my girl. Woo.
Man, Webster Moore on keyboard and vocals. Folks, I got to tell you, one question, Webster. Where
Yeah.
can they find your music? Do you have a website or a Facebook page?
I post a lot on Instagram and Facebook, just to look up Webster Moore, and I kind of post when I'm playing around my shows.
Spell it
and
for our
stuff.
folks so they can really find it.
Webster, like the dictionary, and then Moore, Moore. On Instagram, I'm as Webby Moore, and that's kind of my main platform for everything.
Webby Moore on Instagram. Guys, check it out. Follow him. Come to some of our shows. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having
And
me.
we're going to have you back for sure. And folks, tune in next week for episode 7. All right.